Hi, I'm Ben Gottesman, and I'll talk about Acrolinx's contribution to Talksoup. So Acrolinx is content optimization software. It helps authors make their text more correct, more consistent, and most relevantly for Talksoup, easier to translate. So our role in Talksoup was primarily post-editing and pre-editing of pre-editing of the translation source and post-editing of the translation output. In addition, we developed resources to process and check Chinese text within the project, and we developed multilingual term extraction functionality. So I'll go deeper into each of those four. So pre-editing is about rules for making content more easily machine translatable. For example, statistical machine translation tends to have trouble with long-distance dependencies. So if you have a verb with two parts and those parts are split, for example, the user must shut the system swiftly down. Shut down is a verb, the two parts are split. A statistical MT system might have trouble translating that. So we have a rule to keep two parts of a verb together. So we would recommend the user must shut down the system swiftly. And then post-editing is about rules that attack errors that are typical of MT systems. So, for example, many errors can be attributed to syntactic differences between the source and target languages. For example, if a verb in the source language is not reflexive but needs to be translated to a reflexive verb in the target language, it's not uncommon for the reflexive pronoun to be missing. So in this case, the sich, the reflexive pronoun, might be missing, so we have a rule that specifically looks for that type of error. This is a benefit to Acrolinx because many Acrolinx customers use Acrolinx in combination with translation. Typically that means that they use Acrolinx to improve the source text prior to translating it. And this is particularly beneficial because when you improve the source text directly, you improve all of the translations indirectly. Now I'm talking about translation in general here, not specifically about machine translation, but many of the customers who are using Acrolinx in conjunction with translation are already using MT in their translation workflow or wish to start doing so. And the rules that we developed and the expertise we gained in Talksoup makes us better able to help those customers. So just to make this more concrete, I'm going to go through a pre-editing example. So the first step is you compose your content in your preferred editing tool, and then you check it with Acrolinx directly in the editing tool with the Acrolinx plugin. So you can see the plugin interface in the toolbar. The check button has been clicked here, and the result of the check is that shut the system swiftly down has been flagged. That's the reason for the green highlighting. And then in the context menu, you see the nature of the flag. So the rule that fired was keep two verb parts together. And at the bottom of the menu is the suggested correction. Shut down the system swiftly. And after you have improved the source, you machine translate it. At the bottom right is the actual current Google translation of the corrected version. Der Benutzer muss das System herunterfahren schnell. It's not perfect. The schnell is not in the right place, but it's much better than what Google Translate gives you for the original source. So that's it for pre and post editing. We also developed resources for checking Chinese within the Talksoup project, not just for pre and post editing, but more generally. And so that consists of components for segmenting Chinese text, tokenizing it, part of speech tagging it, morphologically analyzing it, spell checking it, and checking the grammar and style. So that is a benefit to Acrolinx because it opens up the Chinese market to Acrolinx. It's also interesting to several existing customers of ours. Lastly, we developed multilingual term extraction functionality within the project. So multilingual term extraction refers to the identification of technical terms and their translations in multilingual texts. So here's an example of a very small multilingual text, 3 German sentences and 3 English sentences, their translations. And in blue, I've highlighted some of the terms that might be extracted in this case. So we've got 2 occurrences of Spannungsversorgung, which is translated alternately as voltage supply and power supply. And Stromversorgung is also translated as power supply, so the result of an extraction on this would possibly include those 2 German and 2 English terms. And we see that there are indirect links, not just, so there are links across the languages, and also indirect links between possible synonyms in same languages via the translations. So how is this relevant to Talksoup? Well, multilingual term extraction results can contribute to the translation workflow. So the extracted terms are used to build up a terminology. Human validators can specify which of multiple same language variants are preferred, and then that indicated preference can guide future writing or translation. And of course, the cross-language links between translated terms can guide future translations, whether human or machine. So this has been a benefit to Acrolinx in that we've already sold it to several customers as a service. And also, there's been some interest in purchasing the tool itself. So, to summarize, Acrolinx's role in Talksoup involved new rules for checking text, primarily for pre-editing and post-editing for both statistical and rule-based machine translation, and multilingual term extraction functionality. And now I'll hand off to Faye from Yokoi.